A theory is an organized set of ideas designed to describe, explain, and predict development. So a developmental theory is an explanation for how we develop. You have this organized knowledge or this explanation, and developmental research is forever testing these explanations and seeing if the explanation is supported or not supported with research. So when you have these different theories, no one theory can be used to explain development, and no one theory is correct, is fully correct. Instead, I imagine a theory being kind of like a friend. So you have all these different friends sitting around a table, and say you're talking about something that's going on in life, and you have one friend who gives this one explanation and tends to always give this upbeat explanation, this positive kind of explanation for whatever is happening in life. And then you have another friend who's more of a Debbie Downer or something like that. And then you have another friend who might explain life in a little bit different of a way. So theories are just these friends that are sitting around a table giving these possible explanations for whatever it is they're talking about. No one friend is correct, but when they each offer their explanation, it allows you to have a more comprehensive understanding of whatever it is that you are discussing. So the main theories of developmental psychology is the psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic theory. This one says that really development is all about these unconscious forces, all the stuff going on unconsciously. You have Freud, who said that we go through a series of psychosexual stages where you have these different conflicts that you need to resolve so that you can develop in a normal or appropriate way. And the sentence that I use to remember Freud's psychosexual stages is only adults play love games. I'm going to do another video that will go into the different theories way more in depth. So you have Erikson, is also psychodynamic theorist, and said that we go through these different stages. But Erikson's theories are more focused on psychosocial development, not sexual, but psychosocial, social development, okay? And Erikson has these different 8 stages, and in each stage, a person goes through a struggle that they need to resolve. So I'll go into that more in detail. Another theory says that really development is all about behaviors, that we have learned what behaviors are okay in society, which ones are not okay, that we are brought into this world as a blank slate, and that we acquire all these different behaviors that then make up our personality. So the different parts of the learning theory is you have classical conditioning, you have operant conditioning, and you have observational conditioning. And classical conditioning, you have Pavlov, who really gave an explanation for how we learn different instincts. Pavlov did that experiment with the dog, food, and the bell, and the dog began to salivate with hearing the sound of the bell because the bell was associated with the food. So the dog learned to salivate to the sound of the bell. Now, Watson did the experiment with little Albert, and little Albert was a baby that was not scared of a rat until the rat was paired with a really loud sound that scared the baby. So Watson offered this explanation for how we learn emotions. So that's classical conditioning. Operant conditioning is more about the rewards and the punishments. And when we get rewarded for a behavior, we tend to do those behaviors again and again. Whereas if we get punished, we tend to do those less often. And Skinner did a lot of experiments on operant conditioning where he used pigeons and other animals and rewarded certain behaviors like clicking on a lever and giving a treat, and another lever provided a shock, and the animals learned very quickly to push on the lever that would provide a snack. So that's behaviorism, that's operant conditioning. Then you have social learning theory or observational learning that asserts that we really learn through observation. We observe somebody doing something, we think about it, we think, oh, okay, that looks like they're having a good time, or that doesn't look like it's good, or whatever, and then we do it ourselves. So observe, think, do. Bandura did some experiments with a Bobo doll, a blow-up doll, had adults go in to a room and start pounding on these blow-up dolls where children were watching these adults do it, And the children that watched the adults hitting this Bobo doll and looking like they were enjoying themselves then did it themselves. So they learned this aggressive behavior through observation. So that's observational learning. Cognitive developmental theories focus more on our thought process, how we process knowledge and how we use it. Piaget offers a cognitive developmental theory, a four-stage universal sequence of cognitive development, that we learn about the world through manipulating objects. We learn about the world through going through these four different stages. And the sentence that I use for that is smart people cook fish. Smart makes you think of thinking, cognition, and in my next video I'll explain what each of these letters stand for, the different four stages. Now, Piaget was a stage theorist, whereas the information processing theory says that our development is more continuous. We're kind of like a computer. We're forever putting information into us. We're continuously adding information rather than it being abrupt changes from stage to stage. Now, Vygotsky placed way more emphasis on our social relationships and how our social relationships help us to learn about the world around us. Piaget said we learn about the world through objects, whereas Vygotsky said that we learn about the world through our interactions with others helping us to acquire knowledge, to be successful. Then you have the ecological or systems approach that says that we can't just look at the person, what's going on with their thinking or their psychosexual stage or whatever. You really need to look at the environment as well, because a person's environment affects their development, affects how they behave. So Grothendiener offered this systems approach, or the ecological approach, that says that the people that are really, really close to us are in our microsystem, in our family, affects our development, but also the people that are outside of our immediate circle and our culture and things like that also affect our development. We need to take that into consideration. So Grothendiener offered a theory that says, don't just look at the person, look at the people that are around them all the time, as well as the other people that are maybe in the community. Look at the culture in which they live and so on. The Competence Environmental Press says that really we develop best when our environment fits our abilities. So how well does a person's abilities fit their environment? And if they're in an environment where it seems to match their abilities, they're going to develop so much better. Or it also happens in the other way. Say a person is in an environment where they're not getting what they need to be able to develop as optimally as they could, it's going to have a negative effect on them. An example of that is failure to thrive, where you have a baby who is maybe getting all the biological or all of the physiological needs met, food and things like that, but not getting the nurture, not getting the love and things of that sort. So really their environment is not fitting the needs and the abilities of the person. Lifespan selective optimization with compensation. So these are just a bunch of different theories that say, hey, you need to take other stuff into consideration. Yeah, we have all this development going on. Yes, we need to look at the environment, but we also need to look at some other stuff to fully understand development. So the lifespan perspective says that development is multi-directional, meaning that throughout life we are going to gain in certain abilities, but we're also going to decrease in certain abilities. Plasticity, that we really can be molded by our experiences, that our mind is forever being shaped by our experiences. That can be negative or it can be positive. If you're in an environment that is positive, that can really help you to develop fully. But if you're in an environment where you're neglected, you're not challenged, things of that sort, it can also have a negative effect on your development. Historical context, so we need to consider that what historical period did you grow up in? Say somebody who grew up in the Depression, maybe that's going to affect their personality. Maybe they're going to be more stingy as they get older. Maybe they're going to be more of a maybe a hoarder. Maybe they're going to save things. Maybe they're going to have some anxiety with money and things like that because they really struggled growing up financially. Also, development has many different causes, many different factors affect development. That's that biopsychosocial different forces. Selective optimization with compensation. This theory says that as we get older, we become more selective with what we decide we want to do, where we want to put our energy. And as we start to lose some of our abilities, we begin to compensate for these limitations. We begin to find other ways to meet our goals. And then the life course perspective says that earlier development affects later development. If you had some positive experiences as a child, that's going to have a positive effect on your later development. And then again, historical events affect your development. So these different theories just offer different explanations for development and remind us to consider all these different things when we're looking at development.